What's up, Bears Nation? You are listening to the Chi-Town Blitz Report, the podcast that brings you in-depth analysis and unique perspectives on the Chicago Bears. Join me, Tasha Pierce, as I break down the latest news, game highlights, and player performances. We are here to talk all things Bears, from the good to the bad and the ugly. We'll laugh, we'll cry, we'll cheer, and maybe we'll laugh, and maybe we'll cry, and maybe we'll even throw a few Hail Marys. So bear down, Bears Nation, and let the show begin. So one of the things that we learned is that we're going to be seeing the Chicago Bears on HBO's Hard Knocks this season. So it's going to present a kind of set of opportunities and a set of challenges, especially with this rookie quarterback, and then concerns about our own past defense. Like Hard Knocks, that is an HBO documentary series for those who don't know, and it gives fans like this inside look at how the NFL teams prepare for games during training camp and preseason. It also follows the coaches, the players, the staff through their day-to-day routines, their meetings, their practices, their games. Basically, we get a behind-the-scenes glimpse into the world of the Chicago Bears and professional football. I'm saying Chicago Bears because this year it is our turn. So the show is usually showing us the battles that you have for different positions, individual struggles for each athlete. The viewers get lighthearted moments, pranks, things that will make you look at these players like human beings instead of like a Madden avatar on the screen. We get a glimpse of the strategy. We see them developing the game plans based upon their opponents. And then we get access, unprecedented access to the locker room conversations, the practice sessions, team meetings. It's an annual tradition. This is just the first time we've gotten to the Bears. It's an annual tradition for NFL fans, and it offers a unique and intimate perspective on how the game is played and why we love it so much. There are positives to being featured on Hard Knocks, and then there are negatives. I'm going to start with the negatives because we want to end on a positive note here. The first negative that I can think of is that it's a distraction. The constant presence of cameras and production crews can be disruptive, and it can create unnecessary pressure, especially for a young quarterback like Caleb Williams. Then every mistake and every misstep is amplified to the nth degree because it's on national television. It's going to potentially, or it could potentially impact confidence and focus of each player, especially players who start off kind of struggling. And then if I am one of the opposing teams, we've seen the schedule, we know what we're working with. If I'm one of those opponents, I am watching every episode of Hard Knocks, because then I'm gaining insight on how to game plan for the Bears, their strategies, their tendencies. I'm watching that show. Popcorn, give it to me. I'm watching because this is a way that I will be able to fill in some blanks that you wouldn't typically be able to fill in. You would have to play a game of, we're going to give this to Hard Knocks, and this they will never see. And I don't know if teams are doing that year to year. And finally, for a weakness or for a reason why this could be a disruption is it can highlight the Bears' deficiency. Yes, we already know that they have a horrible pass defense and it could get better. But if that hasn't gotten better, then we are seeing that, we can't run against them, but we can still put the ball in the air. And that's not what we want, potentially to give an opponent an advantage. I have never sat down and looked to see, this team was featured on Hard Knocks. How did they fare through the regular season? That might be something that I do. And through the magic of television, I have done that little bit of research that we were just talking about, and it says the Hard Knocks curse is largely a myth. There is no definitive evidence that appearing on the show negatively impacts a team's performance. Teams with existing strengths and a solid foundation tend to fare better after Hard Knocks, as the show doesn't fundamentally change their abilities. Teams with significant weaknesses or internal struggles might find those issues amplified by the added scrutiny and pressure of being on television. So in the case of our Chicago Bears, it is too early to predict how their appearance on Hard Knocks is going to affect their regular season. But here are ways that it could end up being a good thing that we have our guys being on Hard Knocks this year. Because we have a new quarterback and we are expecting this to be our franchise quarterback. We want a national spotlight on Caleb Williams. We want to introduce him to the world because we think he's going to be able to carry us to great height. And it's going to potentially increase the fan interest and boost his jersey sales. Also, this is like, it's money for everybody. If Caleb Williams performs the way that we expect him to perform, then the shared experience of being on a national television show can also foster a camaraderie between the team, a unity between the players and the coaches, us against them, us against the world. It also can motivate our team. The added pressure and scrutiny could make players perform at their highest level, particularly in front of the cameras. And finally, we talked about that behind the scenes access. We get to see these players as the human beings they are. You know, sometimes we can be very hard on some of the players of the teams that we're fans of. In this instance, we're talking Chicago Bears. We can be huge fans, but we don't see these players as people. We see them as commodities. And I think that Hard Knocks will humanize our players. Not that we are making them above, we don't think that their shit don't stink, but we also shouldn't think that their shit stinks too much. You get what I'm saying? We need to treat them better. Now, I am going to talk mad shit if they don't perform, but there's a difference between talking shit about a person and the job that they're doing and talking shit about a person. And that is what I don't like. So let's stay positive, y'all. Let's stay positive. One of the big things I expect Caleb Williams to show, or to continue to show maturity, how this quarterback handles the spotlight is going to be crucial for everything. And I've got another episode that I'm going to be putting out soon that talks about some of his struggles and some of the things that I'm worried about. But I think that we'll get it straight before the regular season begins. Caleb Williams, I feel like, is the type of player who's going to embrace the challenge, remain focused, and it could be a huge boost for his development playing in front of these cameras. Then the coaching staff and the management must find a way to balance the excitement of Hard Knocks with the need to maintain focus. They need a disciplined environment as we're moving into the regular season. I don't want them to get too relaxed, and I don't want them to be too uptight. We need them to be loose and at their most confident moving into the regular season. And the show could also, it can prove to strengthen their chemistry, or it can prove to strain it. And I'm saying, if the players rally together, see this experience as motivation, it could be a positive. But if their egos start to clash, and look, they're elite athletes. Each and every one of them has an ego. Some of them know how to keep their ego in check, and others need work on that discipline. So if we can keep our egos in check and our tensions can stay down, it could be a good thing. Hard Knock. If not, it could be very detrimental if we can't keep those egos in check. Ultimately, the success on Hard Knocks and in the season is going to depend on how they handle these challenges. That's it. We don't make excuses. We make plays. So hopefully they go out there and they make some plays. But yeah, like, one of the big things that I fear is that we haven't done enough to address the pass defense problem that we've had, and that a spotlight will be shown on that during Hard Knock. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they have addressed the situation and our pass defense will be just as good as our run defense, because we shutting shit down on the run. We need to do the same with the pass. Our defense needs to become a fully cohesive against the pass. And there's reasons to believe that those things have been addressed. But look, I'm rambling. Tell me what you think. Is Hard Knocks going to be something good for the Chicago Bears, Or will it be the distraction that we don't need? I would love to hear from you. Please make sure that you are liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and all that good stuff, rating, reviewing, all of that good stuff. Yeah, because I'm doing this as a podcast and on YouTube. So do all the things. And let me know exactly how you feel, what you think about Hard Knocks and the Chicago Bears, what you think about the Chicago Bears this year, period. And that's a wrap on today's Chi-Town Blitz Report. Do me a huge favor, subscribe, rate, and review. I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bear down.